I always forget to read this part, and it's the disclaimer. So, before we get into it, these are my opinions, not my real estate shows, not my real estate companies, not any entity connected to it either, just mine. Now let's go. All right, so today on the show, we're going to talk about how EXP World Holdings became AGNT, agent, at the bell on NASDAQ for the first time today. Next Home is officially in their family. Real Brokerage just printed 32% revenue growth, while the lawyers are stacking complaints on the Remax deal. And Inman just dropped the 2026 future leaders list, and I happen to personally know one of them. So we're also gonna do a live react to a reel. I think we're starting to mess around with some of that. So welcome to the show. I'm Sandi Lyn Burnett. I am CEO of my real estate company, and I built a national brokerage state by state with my business partner, Holly, because too many agents kept getting blindsided by real estate brokerages that talk just low standards, and they run on just vibes and buzzwords and hype. So I wanted to create this show so that you can find out what's actually happening and hear from guests. And I usually have a co-host here, and we talk about actual things happening in the real estate community, and we give actual opinions, not just, oh, this is really interesting, wonder what's going to happen next. And by the way, Brian, I think I figured out what that sound could possibly be. And I think it's my watch hitting the desk, like click, click, when I move my arms. Today, I'm joined by my co-host and producer, Brian. Brian and I served in the Marine Corps together like 50 years ago. Something like that, right, Brian?
Approximately.
Yeah, give or take. I'm going to cry when it's actually 50 years, by the way.
Listen, if we make it that far, we'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll be in our robot bodies by then.
Okay, so let's talk about the AGNT tracker, which I'm sure Brian doesn't give a shit about. He has no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But Brian, I joined EXP Realty in 2018, and they were a publicly traded company back then, and they still are. But it was a new concept for a real estate brokerage to be giving public stock, or private stock or whatever, to their real estate agents. And their ticker was EXPI. So they changed their ticker, and it started trading today as AGNT on NASDAQ. They wanted to make it like an agent-centric ticker. EXP claims to be the most agent-centric brokerage. That's like one of their core values. I'm not going to comment personally on whether they are the most agent-centric. I think in a lot of ways they actually are the most agent-centric brokerage, meaning that they make their staff completely bend over for their top 10 to 20 agents or recruiters, and they really get away with a lot of stuff. Let me see what you're showing there. Yep. And here's the thing. Their stock back in my day used to be worth $178 a share, something like that. It was like, I don't remember what it was at its height, and then it split, and it was like $70 a share, which was still amazing. But look at the fucking price now. And everybody after and since EXP has been chasing the dragon to get to those heights in stock. So these brokerages all hold this stock in high regard. Like, I can't wait to go public. Well, EXP went public a long time before its stock actually shot up. And I don't know if everyone realizes the stock actually shot up as a result of the 2020 lockdown. EXP was one of the very first virtual cloud-based brokerages with its own proprietary technology. And this was in a world where everybody needed an office, a physical office. And so it was well deserving of that stock launch, rocket ship launch, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. It was very well deserved. Peloton had that same surge. That's what I'm trying to say, surge. Peloton had that same surge. I never opened Google Chat, by the way, Brian. So you're just going to have to say whatever you want to say to me if you ever want to say something. I just think that for anybody who thinks that they're ever going to get rich on a stock surge from a real estate brokerage with a similar model to EXP, you are lying to yourself. It's going to have to take a completely different model, not just like a little tweak in their rev share, not just a little tweak in their splits, in their fees. It is going to take a complete overhaul, a completely new concept in a real estate brokerage for something like that to ever happen again. But these agents keep thinking they're going to win the lottery. So that's my opinion on all that. Do you have anything to say about that, Brian? Just like coming from random consumer Joe?
No, I mean I avoid the stock market because it takes like a full-time investment to be good at it. So I'm not gonna like try to half-ass it in there because that's the best way to lose money is to gamble on something you don't understand.
That's why I don't fuck with crypto,
Yeah. When you look at EXPs over the last year, it's down 25%. And then over the last 5 years, it's only, down 13. But it's like, well, so it's like this, being at 108, and then it's gone now because it's now agent. So
Yeah. Well, that's what makes, like, did it change its ticker partly for that reason? I almost wonder.
yeah, like is it like when people declare bankruptcy? It's like not because I have no money, but it's because I have so much debt I need to restructure, and that's how you do it. It's like
I
I don't
want
know.
a fresh slate.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody else to remember that we fucking went pew,
just brush this under the rug and hope nobody
Yeah.
notices.
Just forget that even happened. All right. So I didn't get a chance to really do a lot of research on this, but obviously been the talk of the town that Real buying Remax, which I still think is completely wild. Like a brokerage of 39,000 agents buying a brokerage of 180,000 agents. It's like, wow. So they reported Q1 revenue, $456 million, up 32% year over year, blah, 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 a bunch of like numbers. I don't even want to read the numbers. Okay. Tamir Poleg called the Remax agreement a defining moment in our history. I mean, that's how you CEO, right? And called artificial intelligence a fundamental shift that will reshape industries, professions, and entire business models. He pointed at one real mortgage and title attached numbers as the actual money story, which is true. So like these real estate brokerages, because they're spread so thin on their profit margins and the revenue that they share out, they have to make their money somewhere else. And it's through their ancillary services, their verticals, their title companies, their mortgage companies. They actually self-admittedly do not make the bulk of their income from the real estate brokerage. They actually are lucky if they break even on the brokerage, which is nuts. They reported $456 million in revenue. I just find that interesting. And that's another reason why I designed our brokerage to be different. I don't think it's feasible to give away 80, 90% of our revenue. The same week that Real was doing that, Ademi LLP allegedly launched an investigation, and Blakemere, Fonte, and Ald allegedly filed a class action over the merger. Of course, these ambulance chasers are going to be all over it, but where were they when Compass took over Anywhere? That was a way bigger acquisition, okay? But they were a lot quieter and a lot smarter about it. In looking at this, I'm trying to see like what it even is about. So they launched an investigation. Shareholders allege the board shortchanged public investors and built a deal structure that discourages competing bids. Remax denies the claims and the boards approved the deal. I guess that's what that's about. And honestly, that topic's boring to me. So let's move on. Let's talk about Inman dropping its 2026 future leaders list. So Inman released its 2026 future leaders list yesterday. The Inman CEO said the winners are already making a significant impact on the industry. And so Brian and I, you and I were joking that like they're future leaders. like they were all selected because they're already making an impact. They're already leaders. You know what I'm saying? The 5 categories were agents, teams, and brokers, marketing and sales, mortgage and finance, technology and data, and advocates for change. The power player list also dropped this week. So Remax CEO was named to the power player list, and Mauricio Umansky was named a power player for the 3rd year in a row. Our very own Josh Ries, who's also a co-host on this podcast, he was named a future leader by Inman Future Leaders 2026 in the agents, teams, and brokers category. So mucho congratulations, Josh. I'm fluent in several languages, but we're very, very proud to, have Josh be an honoree of that list, and, that he's really going places. He is a leader in this industry. He definitely can see 10 steps ahead of what's happening. He has made predictions in this industry that have come true, and it's been really neat to watch. Congratulations again, Josh. And we're very fortunate to know you and have you as part of the show and have your opinions weighing in here. The last interesting topic that we'll cover down on is Reffkin going national, MLS CLAW, CLAW, cutting an IDX deal with Compass. So he used the May 6th Compass investor call to commit to taking MRED national, saying it again, we're bringing MRED national. He framed it as an agent and seller choice. The MLS CLAW in Southern California announced the next day that Compass International Holdings will feed its full active listing inventory into the MLS. So this isn't just happening. MRED is Midwest real estate data, Midwest, Chicago, a little bit of Iowa, it's around that area. All right. Now we're talking Southern California, but that's also going to go national. So it sounds like Robert Reffkin is making strategic moves all over the United States. There was also one maybe in Tennessee or something. Yep, here we go. Compass's pipe is now plugged into Chicago, Nashville, and Los Angeles. Inventory at its data layer. And he's pushing this for the agent, is what his claim is. Critics allege that it's a vendor lock, a vendor lock disguised as agent choice language. So He basically started a war with Zillow, who partnered with Realtor.com to do their own thing to compete against what he's doing. So I find that whole thing very interesting because Zillow and Realtor.com are direct competitors. And for them to have come together to fight one broker owner, like imagine how powerful that guy is, to fight against one broker owner who's slowly like getting his tentacles in all of these MLSs and taking them national as private listings, private listing networks. I just find that fascinating. I can't help but like find what Robert Reffkin's doing. Like he is playing like 4D chess. So I just find it very interesting. For you agents out there, I thought I would read you some trending audio and formats in case you want to use them. Like what is trending out there? Like all this stuff that's happening. What could you make reels out of? What could you do? Tell me you priced your seller without telling me. That's one. Next one, POV camera angle. POV, you are an EXP agent waking up in AGNT and finding out from a Slack thread your firm is now running a franchise model on the side. There's that one. Next, a wait for it reveal. Open with this is how the average buyer payment looked at 5.99% and reveal the actual 6.37% rate. Pivot into the buy down, the rate buy down math. Because rates are going up, right? So how do you want to, I guess, comfort your buyers and reel them in a little bit? Day in the life of a next home franchisee. On the morning, the AGNT ticker goes live, cleaning out the EXP emails that no longer apply. Things that are quietly dying in real estate in 2026, list format. The 5% rate fairy tale, the local only MLS subscription, the country club brokerage owner, the merger as the only growth strategy. So just some ideas if you want to like do some social media. There's a reel that's been trending for like a little while, I think. Brian, do you want to pull that up?
Here are the two things that are about to destroy the middle class: homeowners insurance and property taxes. That is correct. You could afford the mortgage payment when you bought, but because property taxes are escalating and homeowners insurance is escalating at a rate that we've never seen before, your ability to sustain the total cost to own your home is probably becoming more and more unlikely.
So she's right. And it's pretty unfortunate. And I don't know like who's to blame. So in 2020 in Iowa, for instance, we had a Derecho come through and tear a huge asshole through our state. And I don't know about you, Brian, but I had never heard of a Derecho before it came through the state of Iowa. Okay, let's see.
I remember like shortly after this happened, I had to defend Joe Biden, which is not something I'm a fan of doing. But he was, giving a speech about something, and he's like, this, I think he said Derecho like came through Iowa, and people were like, he doesn't know what a tornado is. Like he's wrong. I'm like, nope, I've never heard of it before either. I have no clue what it is, but this, like, I live here. This is the term that's being thrown about. He's correct in this word. He's not mispronouncing something else.
And it was so crazy when it happened because it wasn't like we had any warning. It was just like, oh, severe thunderstorm coming or something like that, like whatever. When it started actually happening, I mean, I have videos that like of all kinds of shit blowing through our, yes. Oh my God. It was insane, you guys. Oh my God. That's incredible. Holy shit. Yes. And so this Derecho was no joke. And it completely, and what was so weird, I'm getting chills just thinking about it, is it really didn't make national news. So I'm surprised Joe Biden even talked about it, because I was like, where's the coverage on this? It was a huge natural disaster that like blew the fucking roofs off of all kinds of Iowa homes. And it was just, it was an incredible phenomenon. We had no like warning. And then we realized like, oh, this storm ain't playing around. And I remember the neighbor running out to like go rescue something super insignificant, right? And I'm yelling at her. I remember specifically being like, Jill, get back inside. Like, this is no, like, I'm not scared of storms at all. And I knew that this was a force to be reckoned with. So I just found it to be really incredible. And wow, 1877, it said that was the last time it came through Iowa. It's just like, it's just so crazy that this, I had never heard of this term before it even happened. So obviously real estate agents, like all the pending deals that we had were completely screwed because all these houses needed new roofs. And then that caused a huge like insurance situation where all these insurance companies start pulling out of Iowa. So now the very few, so you know about the California wildfires, and the very few like insurance companies that are willing to stay there can charge whatever they want. And so it's like you can't really blame them because, well, they're at least willing to insure you and they have to make money somehow, right? And that's kind of how it's going in Iowa, because everybody abused that roof thing. Like, if somebody sneezed on their fucking shingles, they got a brand new roof. All the seller's disclosures when I'm looking, did they get a new roof in 2020? Because if not, then I need a roof inspection. You know what I mean? It's very interesting about the insurance, like that she mentioned that, because insurance, homeowners insurance is truly out of control, but I don't know the solution to it. And then when she brought up property taxes, I don't know where I heard this or who's proposing it, but the proposal, and I don't know whether it's a state or national proposal, but if you have your home paid off, you should not have to pay property taxes, is what the proposal is. And I completely agree. Where's the end game here? Because let's say, I want to have a really nice home and work my ass off. So let's say I have a $1 million home. The property taxes are going to be like what, $1,500 to $2,000 a month alone, let alone the insurance. Okay, never mind the insurance, right? So even if I bought that home in cash with my hard-earned money, or I finally paid it off in retirement or whatever, I'm still looking at $4,000 or $5,000 a month in perpetuity just to own this home that I already own. So I would say the right solution for that would be, once somebody has their home paid off, they shouldn't have to pay property taxes, because then you don't have to do some weird senior freeze and all this, because usually it's like about that time anyway. Or if they worked hard for their money and they spent it right and they paid off their home, good for them. But it's like, what is there to look forward to when you have your home paid off if you're still paying out the ass in property taxes? It's just also taxation is theft.
Thank you. Yeah, like the argument I've seen is like, if I buy stocks, I don't pay taxes until I sell it for what it's worth at the time I sell it. If I bought a house for, let's say, $100,000, just to make the math easy, I pay taxes on that. But then arbitrarily, somebody from the government can come in and say, now your house is worth X, and I have to pay taxes on that now? Like, you pay the tax when I sell the house for what it's worth when I sell it. Why are unrealized gains only taxed for houses?
And your income tax and your sales tax and your stamp tax and your, like, it's, I want to throw up. Just, let's not talk about taxes anymore. But she's right, and I don't like it. I'm against it. I'm against taxes. But I really do empathize. Like, what is the end game? What's my motivation for paying off my house? It's like not as sweet if I still have to shit like $5,000 a month or something. So let's wrap this bad boy up. That's the show. We talked about the AGNT ticker, Real, and then the Remax lawyering up with their, class action suit and all kinds of crap like that. I knew that would happen. No, it's not a surprise at all. So Compass, the data pipes, the middle of the brokerage industry is consolidating in real time, and most agents, what's crazy about it is most agents are finding out from a press release even when it's happening to their own brokerage. If you want more of this unfiltered talk, follow us on our wherever you get your podcast, wherever you watch. We stream everywhere. You'll get more of the unfiltered on the live stream at noon every day, and you can listen to the filtered version wherever you listen to your podcasts. That's it, Brian. Close us out.